Terrific, thank you. All right, we're now going to move on to one of the most exciting parts of the year, particularly for the association, and that is the HSRAANZ Awards and Prizes program. So for those of you who may not be aware, this program recognises individuals who've made significant contributions to the field of health services and policy research in Australia and New Zealand. And we have 3 categories within the Best Paper Awards. So these awards recognise the best scientific works in the field of health services and policy research. The best paper by a PhD candidate will be announced by Catherine Harding, who you've heard from. Catherine's a Principal Research Fellow with the Allied Health Clinical Research Office at Eastern Health. And then the award for the best Early Career Researcher, ECR paper, and the best overall paper will be presented by Professor Suzanne Robinson from Curtin University. Okay, over to Catherine.
Okay, so thank you very much. So it's a real pleasure to be able to present the best paper for a PhD student. So the judging panel were once again very impressed with the high calibre PhD research submitted for this research award. It's a great reflection of the strong PhD students we have in health services research. We received 10 submissions. A panel of 5 judges scored each paper according to how it met the definition of health service research, the clarity of the writing and logic, the quality of scientific methods, and the potential to change practice or policy. So the panel are pleased to announce the following results. So first of all, highly commended. I think do I have control of the slides here? There we go. This was a paper from Teresa Hall. People-centred mental health services acceptable and feasible in Timor-Leste, a qualitative study. Tess is a postdoctoral fellow at the Centre for Research Excellence in Childhood Adversity and Mental Health at Murdoch Children's Research Institute. So this paper was a beautiful example of qualitative research. HSRAANZ members interested in qualitative research are encouraged to read it as a great exemplar of the methodology. It involved 57 semi-structured interviews with individuals and a further 85 individuals interviewed via 15 groups. Framework analysis was used to analyse transcripts and observation notes. Results identified the ecology of mental health care in Timor-Leste as well as the major challenges for individuals and services. The paper critically points to implications for strengthening the design of people-centred mental health care in low and middle income settings. And it's a great research contribution to the area. So congratulations, Tess. We have another highly commended paper. This one is by Juliana de Oliveira. Sorry, Juliana, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Adherence to antiretroviral regimens in Australia, a nationwide cohort study. Juliana is a research-focused pharmacist specialising in conducting pharmacoepidemiology and health economics research in the Centre for Big Data Research in Health. This paper was a great example of big data analysis and the type of research question that can be well answered using routine administrative health data. The 10% random sample of the pharmaceutical benefits scheme data we used, the study question was to understand adherence patterns and predictors of adherence to CAR-T therapy for patients with HIV. The conceptual thinking around how to define adherence in the data and the use of group-based trajectory modelling to examine patterns was impressive. The judging panel really appreciated the work that went into ensuring a useful and sophisticated analysis from a routine data source. So well done, Juliana. And that brings us to our first prize. So the first prize for this award went to Samira Sinanayaki. Again, I apologise if I've got the pronunciation not quite right. This paper titled Donor Kidney Quality and Transplant Outcome, an Economic Evaluation of Contemporary Practice. By Samira, who is a final year PhD candidate at Queensland University of Technology, Australia. This was an exceptional example of an economic evaluation. The paper was published in Value in Health in September 2020. It involved assessment of transplanting lower quality kidneys compared to patients waiting longer for a high quality kidney. The judging panel were impressed with the very strong policy implications and that the analysis was designed and presented to maximise its use for policy making. The findings were novel and contributed new knowledge. The modelling was rigorous and incorporated time-dependent transition probabilities and presented a probabilistic sensitivity analysis. It's well deserving of Best Paper by a PhD Student Award. So congratulations, Samira.
Thank you.
Samir is, I think, online, and just to say thank you and at least bring his video up. Are you there, Samira?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Congratulations. Sorry, Catherine.
Thanks. I'm so grateful and honored to be the recipient of this award. 3 years ago, I was working as a public health physician in Sri Lanka, and to be receiving this award now is quite surreal. I would like to thank my supervisors for their support, especially Sanjeeva Kularatne, who is my principal supervisor. Also, I would like to thank the team at OSHI for their continuous support, and especially Megan Campbell for encouraging me to enter this paper. Finally, I hope health systems will take the necessary steps to discard fewer lower quality kidneys so that more transplants can occur, which will improve the lives of thousands of people currently on dialysis. Thank you.
Congratulations, Samira.
Thank you.
So over to me, Sarah, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So I get the privilege of announcing the early career researcher and the best overall paper. And like Rachel said, this is a great honour for us all, and a really good thing for us to be doing. However, when you are on the judging panel, it's actually a very difficult thing to be doing, and it's always very hard because we have such high quality presentations put forward. We did have a separate judging panel. We evaluated 8 nominations for best paper overall and by an early career researcher. The papers were scored against scored on how they met the definition of health services research, the clarity of the writing and logic, the quality of scientific methods, and the potential to change practice and or policy. And as I said, it was a very difficult exercise for us judges, so thank you, colleagues, for your support with that one. Okay then, Sarah, are you okay with to move the slides along?
Yep.
Yeah, so I said it wasn't moving. So our early career research winner is Jason Ong. So congratulations to Jason. Jason is a sexual health physician at Melbourne Sexual Health Centre and an academic with joint appointments at Monash University, University of Melbourne, and the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. His passion is to ensure access to comprehensive sexual health services to all who need it in Australia and through his research in China and Sub-Saharan Africa. And that's an absolutely fabulous photograph of Jason there. In terms of Jason's research, one of the things I really liked about this work is it's had such global impact. In terms of the problem, the World Health Organization estimates that there are over 1 million curable sexually transmitted infections a day, and early detection and timely treatment are needed to better control STIs, especially among those less likely to engage with healthcare system. In recent years, there has been a global scale-up of programs for HIV, pre-exposure prophylaxis, so PrEP. PrEP is a game-changing strategy that reduces the risk of acquiring HIV by 99%, and people who are attracted to use PrEP are the same individuals who were previously less likely to attend facilities for testing. So through Jason's research, he's been able to have global impact, and he's been used to influence policies to advocate for comprehensive STI testing with PrEP programs. He's also been invited by the WHO to present research in an STI think tank meeting in Switzerland, and that happened in March 2019. There's a lot more to be said about what Jason's already achieved. The paper was only published in December 2019 last year, and he's already in the top 5% of all research. There's been through 11 news outlets and 1 policy source, and his paper's been cited 20 times. So if we can just give the Zoom round of applause at your desk, that'd be great. So and thanks, Jason, and well done. Sarah, I don't know if Jason's
Jason is there, I think. So
yep, I'm here.
Jason, well done.
Thanks, Suzanne. And I want to thank the association. Very grateful for this award. And I want to thank the team that was helping me to produce this research. Yeah, I guess very rarely does publication get almost immediate kind of impact at the policy level. So I was very grateful when the WHO was took this upon themselves to release presses and also, I guess, use it as evidence to ensure that STI services are in these PrEP programs. Once again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Jason, and well done. Very impressive piece of work. So the last award then is for the best overall paper, and a drum roll as Sarah reveals who that is. So the winner is Amal Trivedi. So Amal's paper was on co-payment incentive, increased medication use and reduced spending among Indigenous Australians after 2010. Amal is a Professor of Health Services Policy and Practice at Brown University and a researcher investigator at the Providence VA Medical Centre. He is a general internist and health services researcher whose work focuses on the impact of policies and incentives on the quality, equity and outcomes of healthcare. In this paper and this research that Amal was involved in, it used a quasi-experimental difference in difference design to evaluate the consequences of Australia's closing the gap co-payment policy. To date, there's been very limited understanding of the effects of these targeted co-payment and reductions on out-of-pocket spending, use of medications and health outcomes among Indigenous persons in Australia. So it's a really, really important piece of work. And as part of the Fulbright Senior Scholarship, Amal collaborated with Professor Margaret Keller at the University of Melbourne to acquire data from the 45 and up study. And then the data was linked to PBS prescription medication claims. And the study found that the Australians' novel strategy of targeted co-payment reductions for Indigenous populations has led to substantial increases in the use of medications, including the use of medications for diabetes and cardiovascular disease, which are major drivers of the life expectancy gap between Indigenous and non-Indigenous Australians. Among Indigenous Australians who qualified for the largest co-payment reductions, overall use of medications increased by 156%, including increases of 26 to 109% in the use of lipid-lowering hypertension and diabetes medications. So some really important findings there in terms of policy that's been enacted in Australia. And what else? The research team was invited to present these results to federal policymakers in Canberra and the Government of New Zealand's Pharmaceutical Management Agency to inform policy efforts to increase access to medications. So what we're seeing there is, from similar to discussions today, is how our research can really impact on policy decisions and really show evidence of whether or not our health policy decisions are making a difference to our communities. So well done, Amal. That was an absolutely outstanding piece of work. And as I say, very difficult for the teams to judge the papers. So you had some stiff competition. Sarah, is Amal on the video?
Yes, he is.
Excellent. Amal, just over to you if you've got anything you'd like to say.
Well, thanks very much, Suzanne. I just want to say just what an incredible honor it is to receive this award. And I want to express my gratitude to the association for considering our paper and organizing this really exciting event. And I've been here for a couple hours learning about all of the exciting research ongoing related to COVID. I want to thank my friend and co-author, Margaret Kelleher, for collaborating with me on this paper and for hosting me on several sabbaticals and trips to Australia over the years. And of course, the Australian American Fulbright Commission, who funded my fellowship to conduct the study. They've been incredibly supportive of fostering international research collaborations between the United States and Australia. And I just want to thank the health services research community in Australia and New Zealand, who've been incredibly welcoming and supportive and gracious in providing important context for us to understand these findings and to really learn about policy strategies in Australia to address the critical issue of health inequalities for Indigenous people. And I'll just say I'm a big proponent of the value of cross-national learning. It's needed more now than ever to improve health systems around the world. And then finally, on a personal note, my family and I have traveled to Australia 4 times now for extended trips and sabbaticals, and to attend this annual meeting as well. And we really consider it a second home. And really a place where we've developed cherished friendships and fond memories. So again, thank you so much for this award. And I'm really looking forward to the moment when we can all reconnect in person. Thank you.
And we look forward to welcoming you back into Australia and into New Zealand. And we're just pleased we've opened the borders to allow our colleagues from over the East Coast to come over here and us to go over. So that's a great end to our year. So a Zoom round of applause. I saw Rachel do that, so I'll just give a quick Zoom round of applause. And thank you very much. I'm going to hand back to Rachel now to continue and close proceedings.
Thanks very much, Suzanne. There is one final award, and this is really the big award. It's often represents a lifetime achievement, but it's for an individual who has been recognised through their work for great impact. So this award is made every 2 years, and it recognises specifically health services research that's had a significant impact through translation into health policy management or clinical practice. We had 7 individuals nominated for this award. And just to go through, Harriet Hiscock, Allergy in the Community Trial, Helen Dickinson, and Suzanne Robinson, the WACHS Curtin Telehealth Program of Research. Ben Harris-Roxas with Shisha No Thanks, raising awareness of the harms of water pipe smoking. Adam Elshorg, Low Value Care, a program of work. The REACH study, researcher effective approaches to cleaning in hospitals. Nick Graves, program lead investigator, sorry, that was with REACH. And then finally, Stephen McPhail, improving health service efficiency and effectiveness while reducing low value or harmful healthcare. This is really, it is the peak and the pinnacle of looking at, you know, often quite long-term programs of research and an exceptional field of health services researchers. So I'm very pleased to announce this year's winner is Adam Elshorg, Professor in Health Policy, Melbourne School of Population and Global Health and Melbourne Medical School. And the title of his program of work was Low Value Care. So this award recognises that Adam, with partners and a critical team, built an international program of research and policy translation in the area of low value care. It's garnered lots of funding, competitive funding, and produced dozens of peer-reviewed publications, and the program's always been co-designed with policy. So policy and clinical stakeholders, and has delivered direct impact as a result of this to both policy and clinical practice. A truly impressive breadth and impact of the program. Just a couple of words now about some of the components. While Adam was in the US, he co-developed a method for direct measurement of low value care using administrative data. And this method is now employed by MedPAC, the Medicare Payment Advisory Commission, who use it to run analytics and target remedial policies. The Medicare Benefit Schedule Review, which probably many of you are aware of, commenced in 2015, and Adam's task force membership was sought to leverage his low value care research to develop methods for the review and for its implementation. And just as one metric, this task force reviewed 5,700 items on the MBS and provided nearly 1,400 recommendations. One other specific component of impact has been with the Choosing Wisely Australia Advisory Committee, and several papers and policy documents have come as a result of that. The Lancet Right Care series, which was launched in conjunction with the OECD as a primer for the OECD Health Minister meeting in 2017, and where low value care was an agenda item. So really impressive global impact and focus, really shining a spotlight on low value care. Congratulations, Professor Adam Elshorg. Now, Adam, if you're there and you'd like to turn on your camera.
Hi, Rachel, can you see and hear me?
Yes, yes, we've got you. Congratulations.
Okay. Thank you so much, Rachel, and I want to thank the association so much for this award. It's especially meaningful to me coming from this association, one I've had a long involvement with. I've supported, and this association has supported me In fact, since I was a postgraduate student many years ago. I really think the Health Services Research Association of Australia and New Zealand continues to be a critical fixture for the Australia New Zealand health service and policy research community. I think unless we're a community, we're not going to compete with the clinical medicine and the bench science areas for funding in Australia and indeed for policy translation. So I really think it's a wonderful community to be part of.
Hear, hear.
Yes. So look, while I'm thrilled to accept this award, I do say, and as you said as well in your intro there, I do say that health services and policy research is not so much about the individual, it's rather teams of collaborators over time and over an arc of projects that ought to win awards. And I know that many ECRs are watching this tonight, and what I'd like to honestly say to those ECRs that I truly believe this award started as a PhD student for me, possibly even a master's student. And with more time, I'd like to acknowledge hundreds of people who have inspired me and who I've collaborated with over the years. But if you can allow me just a minute or so, I'd like to focus on just a few.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, you got it. And then what, does music play or something like that? So I did my MPH and PhD in the Department of Public Health at Adelaide University, and that was an intellectual wonderland for me, and I need to give special thanks to John Moss and Professor Janet Hiller from Adelaide University. I work in a controversial area of health policy, being low value care, so certain funders deserve this award with me, particularly the Health Service, the HCF Research Foundation, and more recently Arnold Ventures. And so too policy collaborators, New South Wales Ministry of Health, State Departments of Health, the Commonwealth Private Insurers and PHA. And finally, so for the past 6 to 7 years has seen me work with the Wiser Healthcare Group and a real core A team of investigators, Professor Sally Pearson, Ian Scott, who's actually a previous winner of this award, Tim Badgery-Parker, who won the PhD Best Paper Award a couple of years ago, and Dr. Kelsey Chalmers, all of whom deserve this award with me, as well as countless others. So there you go. Thank you so much. I'm very, very proud of this.
Terrific, Adam, and we're very proud of your program of work as well. All right, this brings us to the very end of our end of year event. We are now going to take a break until 2 o'clock, and then if you're joining us for the HSRAANZ AGM, we'll be starting at 2 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for a wonderful morning of presentations and facilitated discussion, questions and answers, and I do hope that our inquiry and our critical thinking continues in response to COVID-19 response and recovery, and in response to how we might evaluate many of the new ideas and health system redesigns. So thank you very much, and I'll see many of you at the AGM. Goodbye.